Hello again, my lovelies, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another part of the masterpiece written by WardofWinter. And as there's nothing special going on right now, why don't we just head right into the video? Grab yourself something to drink, something to eat, sit back, relax, smash that like button in the face, and go click on all those links that lead to WardofWinter's socials. And with that, I hope you'll enjoy the next chapter. Avatar: The Legend of Percy. Lessons in Water. Written by WardofWinter. Read by Tilier. Chapter 2. Announcing a Royal. I sat still as the hairstylist carefully brushed out my hair, mumbling about how it was at such an in-between length now. Please, stay still, Perseus, I cannot do your hair properly if you keep squirming. I forced myself to still again. You can never sit still, can you, Percy, I huffed at Phaetus' comment. I would have turned to glare at him, but I didn't think the hairstylist would be pleased. What's this? Lagi asked, continuing to the exploration of my room that he'd been doing since he entered. The hairstylist mumbled something about them being horribly informal in how they spoke to me. I tried to look over without moving my head and caught a glimpse of the black fabric that made up the veil Annabeth bought me. Oh, that's a veil. He squinted at it and Phaetu frowned. That's not a veil. It's definitely not made of jellyfish at all. Land dwellers don't make veils from jellyfish. They make them from cloth. Why do they do that? Phaetu wondered. Kelp cloth is super expensive. I blinked. Oh yeah, the clothes under the sea were all made from kelp cloth, which was the softest thing ever. Kelp cloth was really hard to make and very expensive. Well, I started. On land they use animal fur like sheep or a different plant material like cotton. They don't even know how to make kelp cloth, I don't think. They both looked baffled. They use animal fur? Lagi asked. I nodded, trying to think back to that science class we were talking about. Yeah, the animals that they use the fur of usually need to be shaved because of health reasons. So it helps the animals to be shaved and we use the fur for clothing. How strange, Phaetu said, peering at the cloth Lagi was still holding. So this is made of animal fur? Lagi asked. No, this one is made from silk. What silk? Lagi said with a frown. Oh, I thought, was it spiders? Yeah, I thought so. What else made silk? They're, I think made of spider silk. So they collect a whole bunch and make it fabric. Phaetu blinked slowly. Spiders. Those, eight-legged, creepy, crawling deathbringers? I faltered. That's what Annabeth calls them. They both stared blankly. Do you mean arachnids? Yeah, that's the what's the word? The official book lookup term. Phaetu and Lagi stared blankly. You know, I frowned, the term for if you do things and it's just doing things, you have to write it down for it to be science. That's a scientific term. Oh, Lagi said. Land dwellers are very strange. Get the word scientific. Phaetu laughed. Oh, do be quiet, I grumbled, my face warming. Lagi snickered. The struggles of land dwellers not using science enough for the word to be remembered. I just forgot the word. The book lookup term? Beto declared sagely. There was a beat of silence. Wait, Lagi said slowly. Did you say they get the silk from arachnids? Arachnids don't make silk? They make thread, I pointed out. No, arachnid crabs do. Beto insisted. Well, arachnids do on land. Land is so strange, Lucky mumbled. What's this? Perseus, the hairdresser said smoothly. I need you to stay very still for a moment. Here, Lucky flicked over to me, showing me a tooth in his hand. I had to think for a moment, sitting still at the hairdresser's twisted my hair around the hairpiece. Oh, that's a disastrous Oh, from that disastrous field trip forever ago. Oh, yeah, I said. That's a tooth from a saber-toothed tiger. The what? Lucky asked. It's a land animal. A really big cat. It's extinct now, though. There was a brief pause. What's a cat? A furry, four-legged thing? Lucky huffed. You'll need to show us one of these cats. Think octopus, I suggested, but furrier and only has 4 legs. That's a weird animal. Beto mused. How does it walk? It can't swim in air, can it? No, that would be a bird, I corrected. Ah, how strange. Then what does it do? Just 1 foot? Oh, right. Merfolk don't have feet. They have legs and feet, like arms and hands, but instead of tails or tentacles. They both stared blankly. I've never seen a land dweller or cat before, Beto said, and I never want to now. I bit my lip to keep from laughing. I'm explaining right. No, you make them appropriately horrific, drawled a voice from the doorway. I turned slightly to see a human figure standing there. He wore black pants with grey and emerald green stitching that were held in place with gold clasps. He was shirtless as was the customs for most everyone undersea, and his skin was a deep bronze. His eyes caught mine as he studied me. One a sharp gold, the other the same sea green as all children of Poseidon. His black hair curled around him in the water as he opened his mouth. So you're the new kid. May I come in? Yes? He walked towards me, jarring in the out-of-place way he moved. He was walking. In the sea. Lagi swept between us. Who are you? His voice echoed with his power, the feeling of slipping currents and the scent of my mother's perfume filling my senses. I am Chrysaor, the man said. He blinked once, then suddenly his sword was at Fetu's throat. Don't use your voice on me, or you'll lose it. The hairdresser interrupted, pulling their hands back. I am done, Perseus Aya. I swept up quickly, hesitating to. You are Chrysaor? Asked Lagi, son of Poseidon Ore and Medusa Neo. Why would you be here? And where is your tail? Fetu added. Chrysaor's eyes narrowed, blade not wavering. I am also a prince of the sea, in case you forgot your lessons, Turoraya. I do not have a tail. Now leave my brother's room. It's very inappropriate for you to be here without supervision. Lagi and Fetu bristled. We are not alone, Fetu pointed out firmly. Or is the hairdresser not mer enough for you? The hairdresser is not an official chaperone, Chrysaor informed them matter-of-factly. Besides, you are in his bedroom. So incredibly inappropriate. The bedroom is a safe, sacred space. You shouldn't invade it with your ranked selves. Petu's eyes narrowed as Chrysaor looked him over pointedly, but with a sword at his throat, he dared not move. And who are you to judge? Petu questioned coolly, his fingers twisting with mine for a moment. I flushed as Chrysaor's gaze locked onto the motion. His older brother. He flashed a sharp smile. So get out. Both hesitated another moment, glancing at me. Well, he was my brother. Triton wouldn't let someone in who was dangerous. Plus, he was kinda right. Them being in my room wasn't super appropriate, but I hadn't seen them in ages and Triton allowed it. I bit my lip. It's fine, I assured. It was nice to talk again. Perhaps we can meet later? Very well, Lagi said. They both twisted their hands in goodbye, Fetu squeezing my hand gently before letting go. Arhoaho visap so puem potta, Fetu murmured as he swam away. Tal u maif mahur. The twins swam out, shooting one more sharp look at Chrysaor as they left. He lowered his blade as they exited, the blade seeming to twist and vanish into curls of salt water. Whoa. The hairdresser quickly made a motion of respect and swept off themselves. So, Chrysaor said cheerfully, you're my little brother. I am, I said politely. Medusa's son. That's what Lagi had said. The brother of Pegasus. It's nice to meet you. He hummed. You don't look like much. I watched him fingering my bracelet that was missing the trident charm. Looks can be deceiving. He shrugged. Perhaps. I don't understand why such a fuss is being made. There hasn't been such a big deal made of a child since Pallas. I forced myself to smile. They seem very excited. Indeed, he mused. I suppose they would be, with what the rumors that Okeanos. Oh, grumbled a far more familiar voice. It's you. Chrysaor's gaze lit up. Triton Retai, my dearest older brother, how are you? He spun to him, throwing his arms out grandly. Triton glowered at him. You're back. How delightful. Did you miss me? I could hardly sleep for missing you so, Triton said with an eye roll. Percy, are you all right? Isn't his name Perseus? Chrysaor pointed out. I'm fine, I assured Triton. The hairdresser said I was ready. Triton nodded, swimming over to me and ignoring Chrysaor. We'll have to remove the necklace for now. The cord is too light, it'll get in the way. We'll buy a chain for it to weigh it down a bit. You'd almost believe he was your child, Chrysaor mused. Triton took a slow breath. Are you all set? Your hair looks good, the shell's twisted in right, and your tail is shining. He was looking me over, face tight. You seem all set, he murmured. He turned, eyeing Chrysaor. You'll need to get to the Tunep soon, or you'll be late. Chrysaor hummed. Of course. Wouldn't want to be late for the announcement. He turned to leave, pausing at the door. Oh, he shot me a vicious grin. Welcome to the family. Poseidon's point of view. Delphine swam around, keeping an eye on everyone, and ensuring there were no issues. Putting Ryujin and Namaka in the same room was rather asking for a conflict. Those two were constantly fighting over the Hawaiian waters. Ryujin just needed to let Namaka live in peace. She didn't really try to branch out beyond her islands. I shook my head. Now was not the time for politics, as long as I didn't have to interfere because the two got in a fight. It would be fine. The room was looking good. My Hitai Wahiwu did an excellent job ensuring that Zionaf set everything up perfectly. The Ofehare Imote did an excellent job setting up the table coral. They look very elegant, and the Actinia anemone decorating the centers were particularly glowing. Many different tame were swimming around, enjoying the various snacks. There were also tatea of many varying species, from hammerhead to great whites and quite a few marame. Most of them were Delphine's workers, but a few were from further seas. I forced a smile on my face as I swept to the throne where the rest of the family was already waiting. Only 3 people were missing. And just as I had thought that, Chrysaor waltzed in. I winced. I always forgot that particular son of mine only had a human shape. I could already see the looks being shot his way. He was my child, though, and the child of Medusa. I would give him the same honor I gave all my children, even if he didn't have tails, nor want them. I focused back on task. Now only Triton and Perseus were missing. Triton went to retrieve Perseus so they would both be here shortly. Once everyone had arrived, we could begin the announcement. Chrysaor, I said with a nod. Glad that you could join us. Happy to be here, Metua. Oh, hello, Kimopoleia. Make any storms lately? I sighed as he swaggered over to Kim to start talking about the chaos they caused. Those two got along way too well. Are you ready? Amphitrite murmured beside me. Of course, Hereain. I soothed. I am completely prepared. Okeanos will not steal my child from me. He's failed before, and he'll fail again. Ah, my daughter! How are you? Okeanos swept up before us. Speak of Okeanos, and he shall appear, Areo. We are doing well, Amphitrite responded. And you? Quite well, looking forward to your little announcement. I'm sure, I murmured. Everyone is very excited for the announcement of another prince of the sea. His eyes gleamed. Well, he'll be a prince regardless of the outcome of our, agreement. I smiled tightly as Thetis glided over as well. Lovely. Everyone was here again. Poseidon, Amphitrite, she said smoothly. How is Percy too? My eye twitched. I still didn't know how they met him, but he's clearly recognized them when they'd arrived. He is, well, simply preparing for the announcement. Yes, she glanced at the coral table that held 2 elegant arm braids. And those are his armbands, then? They are, I said with a small twist of my hand in acknowledgement. She studied them, taking in the silver bands with the intricate kraken design on them. Triton had insisted. The kraken held a trident, which all my children's bands hold, in its tentacles. And if you looked closely, you would see the scale pattern on the background as well as conch shells and corals hidden among the tentacles. Mikey Sim worked through the tides changes to make them so quickly with such mastery. They truly were the greatest Fepazem in the sea. It looks lovely, Thetis said. I simply adore the little fork it's holding. My eyes twitched. Yes, it's a very lovely trident. Yes, Dad, she smiled brilliantly. So when is Percy Toe arriving? Perseus will be here shortly. As I spoke, the doors opened and allowed Triton to sweep in with his conch shell in hand. He took a breath and blew into the conch shell. The sound echoed throughout the room, catching everyone's attention. Beings of the sea, may I bring your attention to our newest arrival, announcing Perseus Yaxon, son of Poseidon, prince of the sea, retriever of the Master Bolt, and survivor of the underworld. Okeanos' point of view. Listening to the rumors around the room was always rather entertaining. It's been so long since a full court was called, not since that mess with Nodens and Lear happened. Nearly 500 years now. Another time passed. Everyone had something to say, most of it very entertaining. I heard that the meeting is because his son started a war. And here I thought it was because he ended a war. No. He fought the god of war and ended him. He killed the god of war? Which one? The Greek one. Of course it's the Greek one. Which Greek one? Didn't he fight the Chimera? I heard it killed him. No. He killed it. He didn't kill the god of war. He's mortal. But Echidna was off licking her wounds after the fight. From Rangape that he's getting adopted. He's getting disowned, you mean? No. He's getting promoted. Can we go back about him fighting the god of war? That's last week's news. Catch up. Okeanos tailed over here real fast. Did you see the way he and Poseidon were talking? I do hope they don't start another war. Did you hear that war almost started? Saying. Got the bolt thing, the one that the king in the Greek pantheon uses. You mean the one that is constantly fighting with Poseidon? I like that guy. I shook my head as I swam towards Poseidon and Amphitrite. They were looking very confident that their scheme would work. It was certainly a good way to make it difficult for me to adopt him. The sea would likely acknowledge Percy Toe as theirs if Poseidon managed this properly, and interfering would only make me look bad. I would simply have to hope he screwed this up. Who am I kidding? Of course he would. I greeted my daughter and held in my laugh at my love's comment about the trident on the armbands. They were rather well made, especially for being done on such short notice. But ours were better. When we adopted Percy, he'd have armbands as our child, and they were far lovelier. I turned as the doors opened, right on cue. Triton's announcement was suitably grand, and it was rather impressive that Percy Toe already has 2 titles to his name, along with the one he was born with, of course. And then Percy entered. His deep blue hair was pulled up and pinned into a small bun with coral pins. There were assorted shells threaded through his hair. His green and blue scales glittered in the light of the Manisi pearls, going up his sides some, though not nearly as far as those from deeper or more southern or northern waters. He wore only his bracelet, the same one he'd had since we'd met him, and a shell necklace that I recognized as the kind Poseidon gifted to him, to all his most treasured children. He wore no other jewelry or embellishment. He swam in, head held high, hands tucked behind him, looking every inch the prince of the sea that he was. He swept back, settling amongst the group as Triton and Percy moved to the front. Triton passed by him to settle at his own throne, to the direct right of Poseidon's. Poseidon smiled faintly before raising his hand to greet Percy Percy raised his hand back. Perseus, Aya. Poseidon greeted. Poseidon, Reore, Percy responded. Poseidon turned his gaze to the crowd that I stood in. Welcome, Aritoha, Arinita, and others. I thank each and every one of you for gathering here today for this special occasion. His gaze swept across the crowd, lingering on me for just a moment. His expression did falter as he continued. Today, in the most prestigious of days, I am delighted to present a new member of the royal family of Atlantis. There were a few murmurs of the crowd now as rumors were proved and disproven in turn. 13 years ago I had a son, but due to the restrictions of Olympus and Zeus' never-ending wrath, I had to keep him my closest secret. Today that changes. He smiled, spreading his hands to bring attention to the child standing in front of him. My son has not only proven himself worthy as a child of the sea, but as a prince, a demigod, a hero, and a son. He found and returned Zeus's master bolt, braved the dangers of the underworld to speak to Hades, and then sought out his missing helm of darkness. He faced the god of war in battle and emerged victorious. I frowned at the clear looks of approval from the crowd. They were pleased with this. Of course, it was impressive, but the point was that he shouldn't have had to do all that. He has done all of this at a too young 12 WoardofWinter. The murmurs grew louder at that bit of news. Percy was small for his age, but they had likely assumed him older than that despite his size. May I present to you my youngest son, Perseus Bellerophon Yaxon. And that is it for today. For the terminology, we have the Halmaheran, Percy as the pronunciation for Percy, Torhora Ia, meaning the apprentice song, a way of saying someone is an apprentice to learning the siren song Magus. Arhoa Hoviso Pu Empota is farewell, see you in time. And Tal U Maif Mohur is have a good day. Oftune is the announcement room, a ballroom, or any type of grand announcement room for many a guest. Then we have Petai Mahivu for wife, Sionaf for servants, Ofehare Imote for a coral shaping mage, Tame is merfolk, Tatea are sharks, Marame are dolphins, Heriaen is my love. Io is the F word. Vipasem is a metalsmith. Then we have Manisi pearls for the sun pearls. Aritohaf is a royal, or the plural of royals. Arinitaf is the ambassadors, and Veruo is the storm season. For the suffixes, we have Aya for prince, Ore for the current king, Neo for people who had affairs with Poseidon, Retai for older brother, Reaya for high prince or crown prince, Tou is the masculine form of young one, Sim for smith like a metalsmith, Reore is the high king or emperor, and Pe is for miss, is the gender neutral term for miss or mister. Terminology wise, we have that spiders do not make silk, it is actually made by silkworms, but Percy is adorably wrong. Arachnic crabs are a species of crab that make some magic one. So WardofWinter made some magic ones here. Delphine is the god of dolphins and a general of Poseidon. Ryujin is the Japanese dragon god of the sea, while Namaka is the Hawaiian goddess of the sea. A table coral is a type of coral that actually looks like a table. Actinia anemone is an anemone commonly found in the Atlantic Oceans and their surrounding waters. Rhodos is the goddess of the island Rhodes and a daughter of Poseidon. She was married to Helios. Chimopoleia is the goddess of violent storms and also a daughter of Poseidon who was married to Briareus, who is now one of the 100-handed ones. Bentesekime is the African sea nymph and goddess of the wave, a daughter of Poseidon who was married to Enalos, king of Ethiopia. Heraphile is an oracle of Apollo and daughter of Poseidon. Her name means friend of heroes. Chrysaor is a son of Medusa and Poseidon, the brother of Pegasus. Nodens is the Celtic god associated with healing the sea, hunting, and dogs. And Lear is the Irish sea god. The Chimera is the phonetic spelling of the Chimera, and Echidna is the phonetic spelling of Echidna. And that would be all, my friends, my sweet lovelies. I hope you had a blast. If you did, consider going to the links that lead to WardofWinter socials and the original fanfiction to give all the kudos they deserve. And if you like the way I read, why don't you smash that like button in the face and break the subscribe button to never be able to unsubscribe. And with that, we'll see each other next time.